Life Audio.
Welcome to the TMUS podcast, where we share how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together. Hey, everybody, we are Ted
and Ashley Slater. Today we are sharing 5 of our favorite ways to embrace marriage as a team. So if you and your spouse are feeling out of sync lately, don't miss this episode. So Ted, it's been said that in order for things to move from short-term memory to long-term memory, we need to have them repeated 5 to 7 times.
Could you repeat that again for me?
Yes.
Sorry. I'm just kidding.
Actually, okay, I anticipated you were going to say that.
You did not.
I
Am
did
I that
too.
predictable?
Sometimes.
Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard something like that. Like habits might be 30 days, but as far as memory stuff, yeah, I could see how 5 to 7 times.
Yeah, so today we're going to practice that.
What are you saying? Are we repeating something we said before?
Yes. Well, we're going to reshare some of our favorite strategies that help us embrace marriage as a team.
Okay.
So these are things that we have talked about on the podcast before, but I don't think we've talked about all of them in the same episode before.
So all the good stuff in one episode.
Well, some of the good stuff in one episode.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, so normally we would take a short break before we jump into our list, but today, no, we will have some.
Oh.
But we're changing things up a bit, and we're going to jump right into number 1, and we're going to save that first break for a little later.
All right, well, let's do it.
So number 1 is get on the same page.
All right. Explain and give an example.
Okay, well, the key to this one is open and honest conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be on the same page if we don't know what page our spouse is on.
If there's ambiguity or deception.
Right. If I'm on page 102 and you're on page 10, that's not great.
Right now, yes.
Or in other words, if one of us is thinking, gee, it'd be great to move to Alaska in 2033. And the other one is like, there's no way I could live someplace with 5.5 hours of daylight in December.
Uh-huh.
There's a problem because we're not on the same page.
Right. If we moved to Alaska, I would need a tanning bed to get some sun.
Right. And I just picked an absurd example. I'm not thinking I want to move to Alaska.
And you have lived in Alaska, and our daughters have visited. So we're not saying anything negative about Alaska. It's just maybe not a good fit for the two of us.
No, it would be fun to go on a cruise there, though.
Yeah, there's a lot to
I was just
there.
like, what's a silly example I could come up with? Okay, so as couples, we need to talk about our expectations, our desires, our hopes, dreams, frustrations, maybe about finances, or, how we wish the dishwasher was being loaded. And I think one way we can get on the same page is to brainstorm together. Grab some paper and pens.
We've done this.
We have done this.
Like literally.
Yeah, we did this on our second date.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to figure out how we wanted our relationship to be characterized. And I think I probably have those lists somewhere.
Oh, my lands.
I need to look. But, individually make lists of what we desire the present or the future to hold. And I think it's important to do it apart from each other.
Okay.
Because then we're not influencing each other's lists.
Okay, we're not just being yes men or
yeah, especially if one of us, doesn't want to upset the other or wants to please the other. I mean, there still could be some of this fear of being completely honest. So this is where you really do have to have that open and honest communication.
Sure, and there's nothing wrong with writing a list of your own preferences or desires or whatever, and then you can compromise. You can discuss it. That's good.
Yeah. After you have your list, come back together and discuss them. And kind of note what items are common, which ones are unique, and are there some practical ways to work together to accomplish those things.
And you can't have that conversation if you're not on the same page about expectations.
Right. And you might actually learn something about your spouse. You might be like,
boom.
Wow, I had no idea you were even thinking that.
I had no idea that you didn't want to live in Alaska.
Right. I think Alaska would be cool, except for I need the daylight.
Yeah.
I need the sun.
Emotionally. Right. No, me too.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. So, if it wasn't dark in the winter, then maybe I would be like, let's move there in 2033. But I need sun.
Okay.
All right. You ready for number 2?
Let's do it. Do we need to take a break yet?
No, not
No
yet.
breaks yet.
I'll let you know.
Yes.
All right. 2 is enjoy something new, which can be kind of hard for us. We've been married 22 and a half years.
I do like my routines. Not necessarily a virtue, but yeah.
Well, and that's a good point. I wasn't even thinking that, but that's a good point that, it can be hard because you like your routines to want to try something new. Like I was thinking, well, we've tried so many new things together. What else is new to try? But that's also, that's an excellent point. And I know I've used this example before, when we got married, I was like, I don't really like Thai or like Indian food.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Things have changed.
But I retried it because you really liked it. And I was like, oh, I guess I was eating at the wrong Thai and Indian restaurants, because now I love it.
Now we're
and
fans.
All four of our kids love it. Although we have one that has had some allergic reactions to Indian food lately, which has been, we need to figure out what's going on there. But anyway, I think this whole food thing, early in our marriage taught me the importance of stepping out of my comfort zone, which is another thing, I guess, with when you don't want to get out of your comfort zone and trying things that you like, even when I'm convinced maybe I won't.
Yeah. Now there is something to be said for me showing you something that I've been exposed to. So our honeymoon was in Paris, and I had visited Paris briefly for a few days. So I was kind of, on one hand, I was showing you some things that I had seen. On the other hand, we were doing it together for the first time, and a lot of it was new for us.
Yes. I mean, I did step out of my comfort zone there because you were like, let's go to the catacombs. And I'm like, under the city, a bunch of dead bones does not sound like something I would enjoy. But I did it, and it was cool. It was an experience.
I'd do it again.
Yeah, I probably would too. And I think there's other things you've done that maybe you wouldn't have done if I hadn't encouraged you. And I will say sometimes you'll try new things and you may go, yeah, no, I don't like that. Like you will sometimes be like, listen to this screamo or heavy metal music I'm listening to. And I'm like, it's giving me a panic attack. I'm sorry. I cannot share in your joy.
My wife does not like orchestral metal step. Unreal.
Yeah, sorry. Can't enjoy that with you. Okay, so those of you who are listening, you can do the same thing. You can try new things. And maybe it's not Thai food. Maybe it's not food at all. Maybe it's a vacation spot or a hiking trail. And whether you end up with a new favorite or not, I guarantee you'll find your relational bond strengthened just because you decided to lay your own comfort aside and share in the other's joy.
Or maybe you didn't realize you would love your spouse's favorite musical genre.
Yes, or your spouse will just respect you for at least listening to the first 30 seconds of the song, even though they could see the pain in your eyes as you did.
Pain in your eyes. That's good.
All right, now we are going to take that short break.
A break.
And when we return, we'll share 3 more of our favorite strategies for helping us as couples embrace marriage as a team.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
So today we're sharing 5 strategies that help us embrace marriage as a team. And so far we've talked about getting on the same page and enjoying something new.
Yes.
Are you ready for number 3?
Absolutely.
Okay. Choose lightheartedness. And all of a sudden, this is not even in my notes. I suddenly saw the scene in Mary Poppins where they walk into, who's the guy that has a tea party near the ceiling? He's like floating in the sky.
Right,
And they
love to laugh, that one?
Yes, and they're like, they're all lighthearted because they're floating.
Literally
and I
float
think
up.
that when people hear lightheartedness, that's what they think of. They think of this humor and laughter. And yes, that's part of it. But what we're really talking about and encouraging is choosing to, practice a lightheartedness that comes from a heart that's not weighed down by grudges. Because it's not good for your health and it's not good for your marriage.
Absolutely.
So if you're listening and you've kept a list of the ways maybe your spouse has failed or disappointed or hurt you in the past, it's good to determine to work through those things in a healthy, God-honoring way. Like, don't hold on to them and let them fester or sweep them under the rug. Process them, work through them.
Well, it's impossible to have a lighthearted marriage if you're burdened by all these memories of, things that have, caused offense. It's good to work through those, let them go, and then be in that lighthearted state.
Right. Yeah. And I think part of this is there's the small things, the things that, we could easily get offended by. Mm-hmm. And so we can make the decision to not get easily offended by and our best to overlook offenses.
Like if I always put salt and pepper on my food before tasting it and you're like, I made this, I think it's perfect. You don't need salt and pepper, but I went ahead and put salt and pepper on anyway. Is that kind of a little offense?
Yes, but that's not what you actually do.
No, it's not.
What you actually do, if we're going to get real here, is you pull out all the hot sauces.
All the hot sauces.
And I used to be like, you could at least taste it first before you put the hot sauce on. But 22 and a half years later, I'm like, go ahead. Whatever. Put the hot sauce on it. But yes, that is a good example of a small thing. Instead,
could trip you up, prevent you from.
Right. Now I'm like, he likes his food with hot sauce. It's not a personal thing.
I'm a spicy man.
Yes, you are. But there's also the big things, that can turn into.
Like adultery. That's
a big thing.
Really big.
Well, I don't know where I was going with the big things, but the harder things,
yep, sure.
The things that maybe you can't work out on your own. So you go see a counselor and you have someone help you work through them.
Right.
The point is,
it doesn't have to be as big as adultery. It could still be disruptive to your marriage.
Right.
You need some outside help.
The point is, if you're carrying these things and you're not working through them, you can't have a lighthearted marriage.
No.
And you can't have that intimacy and that vulnerability and that real relationship. And you can't be a team if you are carrying things against your teammate. If you're keeping
a record of wrongs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, number 4.
Another break?
No.
Hey, look at us.
4. These are kind of getting heavier as we go along here. Not intentional.
Uh-huh.
I actually pulled this from an article I had written a few years back.
All right.
Or a decade ago. I don't know. Make peace with the past.
With whose past? What do you mean?
I think just the past in general. Like for us, the last year, it's been an interesting year. There's been
some good things, some challenges.
Yeah, I think there's been outside stuff. I always have to clarify so that people don't think we're having all these marriage problems behind the scenes that we're not talking about. Because, when you leave things open to the imagination, people fill in the blanks in the worst possible ways.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I've got one girlfriend. It's you.
Yes. So there's been outside stuff that's put pressure and stress on our family and marriage.
Yeah.
Like on all of us. I don't think any of us or our kids have been unaffected by it.
Yeah. I mean, when you deal with people and organizations, sometimes you don't see eye to eye and it can be difficult.
Yeah. And, maybe people who are listening can relate. Maybe the last year has been rough on their marriage as a result of maybe it's been financial issues or maybe they've had health challenges or relational struggles. And it's likely that we'll all face these kind of issues again, And so we have to kind of determine to make peace with these events. And I don't think that means
fully resolved.
Right. They might not be resolved. You might not even be fully healed. You might still be processing them. You might still be working through them. But I think as a couple, you can decide together to not just see these challenges as how painful they are or annoying they are or whatever it is they are. But you can also go, okay, let's look at them as opportunities for growth, both individually and as a couple. And I think when you're able to do that as well, you can have some peace with the past. You can go, okay, this has been really hard, but God is working out our story.
Particularly if you work through it together, even if you work through it individually, but as a couple, you come to the place where you can let go of these perceived offenses or, challenging relationships or things
and you can
up.
say, there's a point where you go, okay, we can't keep ruminating on it.
Good word.
Because ruminating is different than trying to resolve or work through. Ruminating is going over and over and over
what cows
it.
do, right? When they burp up their food from their stomach number 3 and they chew it again and they swallow it down, they burp it up and chew.
Yeah, it's this going, how could it have been different or what could I have
number
done?
5,
or
burp it back up and start chewing it.
Or even what could you have done differently,
Yeah.
So it's making peace with the past, I think, is not ruminating anymore, but instead
That's good.
sitting down together and maybe reflecting and talking about how the struggles may have wore on you. Maybe they're still wearing, not warring. Maybe they're warring on you too,
Sure.
but wearing on you. But how do they also make you stronger? What are you learning through them? How do you want to continue to grow? You know?
Absolutely.
All right, I got one more, and then we are going to take a break.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the last one is fight as allies. And this piggybacks on the last one, because I think that sometimes the hard stuff causes conflict between us, and we have to remember that we're on the same team, that we're allies.
Yeah, I noticed that if we're going through some challenge or whatever, if we change our mindset to, hey, we're in this together, we're doing this challenge together against the challenge, yeah, it helps our relationship immensely. It's in a way, it can be a really good trick, a good technique.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, conflict is about how and when we disagree, that it's us versus the problem. That's what you're talking about, us versus the problem,
Right.
rather than me versus you.
Absolutely.
And that's what happens when it's us versus the problem. We're allies. We're not enemies. And so when we do that, we're doing our best to work through conflict in a way that serves to unite us and benefit the long-term health of our marriage. I think when we're fighting as allies also, we are saying to our spouse, no matter what we're going through, I'm picking you. And there's something marriage building in that. I'm not picking to side with this problem. I'm not picking to side with whoever we're having conflict with. I'm picking you. Yeah. And there's power in that.
No, that's a great reminder.
Just
repeat it 7 times.
So that it goes into long-term memory and not short-term memory.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think, those of you listening, the next time you find yourself in an argument with your spouse, or, there's some problem that you're having to navigate, figure out how to do it as allies, work through it together. Yeah. All right. We're going to recap.
Yep.
So here are 5 of our favorite strategies to help you embrace marriage as a team. 1, get on the same page. 2, enjoy something new. 3, choose lightheartedness. 4, make peace with the past. And 5, fight as allies. And I realized that number 5 kind of morphed into a whole new idea as I was talking about it. I went completely off my notes.
Oh.
So, yes.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
So hopefully whatever I said actually made sense. But if not, go look up old articles on my website.
There you go. Absolutely.
You'll get what I was
notes.
Intending to say. Okay, so we're going to take that last short break. And when we come back, we'll give you this week's S-Time Challenge.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
So for this week's S-Time Challenge, those of you listening, think about what you and your spouse do that makes you most feel like a team. And why does it make you feel like a team? Maybe it's one of these strategies that we talked about. Maybe it's something entirely different.
And maybe you could practice exercise from strategy number 1.
Get on the same page?
Yeah, like actually physically writing something down, each of you.
Maybe you'll find out you both want to move to Alaska.
Ooh, yes. Adventure is out there.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the Team Us podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast, and we'd love to have you leave a review over at Apple Podcasts. We're looking forward to next time as we keep talking about how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together.
Team Us with Ted and Ashley Slater is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Many of us feel hurried. And did you know that being in a hurry is costing us more than we realize? Hi, I'm Jem Fadling, co-host of Unhurried Living, where my husband Alan and I help people learn to live and lead from fullness rather than on empty. We provide resources and training to teach you healthy patterns for rest, work, and spiritual connection. With more than 25 years of experience at the intersection of spiritual formation and leadership development, Unhurried Living seeks to inspire others to rest deeper, live fuller, and lead better. Join us each week as we continue to have conversations about leadership, soul care, the power of prayer, and much more. You can find Unhurried Living at lifeaudio.com and on your favorite podcasting app.